What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, and I'm here to give my review of the remake of Black Christmas. So we had Black Christmas come out in what, 1974, somewhere around there, and then we had the remake come out in 2006. Guys, Black Christmas is a classic horror movie, a classic slasher movie, classic Christmas slasher movie, right? Like, yeah, there you had Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Silent Night, Deadly Night created what, 4 sequels, something, maybe 5 sequels, something along those lines. But Black Christmas kind of stood apart from Silent Night, Deadly Night because it was just this grittier, darker, bleaker thing. Even though it didn't have some dude dressed up like Santa Claus doing the slashing, it still felt. It still felt kind of ickier, right? Kind of grimier. And the 2006 remake sucked. The 2006 remake was not good. Now, I know some people who like the 2006 remake, but I'm not one of them. I thought that it was just, honestly, I thought that it plodded along and was kind of boring. All right, so what about the 2019 remake? Well, here's what I think about it, all right? It had a pretty decent opening sequence. You know, your really good horror movies start with a killing, right? The opening scene is a killing. And this one was no different, and it was a pretty effective killing. It was a pretty effective opening for me. But you know how I always say that I have no problem with social messages being put into movies and TV shows. No problem at all. And I don't care if it's a conservative message. I don't care if it's a liberal message. I don't care if it's a libertarian message. I don't care if it's a socialist message. I don't care. I don't care. Because I think that messages in our media it sparks conversation, and conversation is good. Conversation is what makes this country move forward. Conversation is good. Yelling and calling people names and getting on Facebook and trying to get somebody fired from their job because they think differently than you do, that's not good. That's bad. And both sides are guilty of this, guys. Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, they're all guilty of foolish, childish behavior. But conversation is good. Because conversation is where we can find middle ground. But I always say that I have no problem with these messages as long as the message does not come before the storytelling. Storytelling comes first, all right? The story does not serve the characters. The characters serve the story. I feel the same way about the social messages in movies. The social messages do not, or the story does not serve the social message. The social message serves the story. Story comes first. That's not the case in this movie. In this movie, you had a social message. In fact, there were a couple social messages in this. And that was the point. The point in this movie was the social messages. And then they attached a movie to it to make it work. And you felt that. That was obvious as you were watching the movie, was that the social message came before the story. How do we build a story around this social message? Largely, the social message was female empowerment. That's fine. I have a daughter. I'm all for female empowerment. But I do not think that the social message should come before the story. And in this case, there was no story. There was bits of story attached to a social message that was meant to carry it forward. And it just was weak. It was weak through and through. The movie was a bad experience because there was no story without this social message that the story was entirely built around. The social message came first in this instance. And that made it all the weaker experience for me. So it made the movie plodding. It made it dull. It was only a 90-minute movie, and it felt long. Even the kills, when the kills happened, other than that first one, the first one kind of had me hooked a little bit. But after the first one, even the kills, it's like they were afterthoughts. Like, well, we got to get this kill in because we're a horror movie, but then we'll get back to the message. That's the main thing we want to be on. The kills were fast, and they were ineffective as far as building scares and building tension was concerned. This was all about the messaging. So for me, the Black Christmas remake was an incredibly weak movie because they just had their priorities out of whack. They weren't trying to make a good movie. That's obvious. They were not trying to make a good movie. They were trying to tell a message. They were trying to deliver a message. Now, if you are somebody who's in complete and total agreement with everything that they're saying, then you might be able to get something out of this. If you're not in the population of people who are like gung-ho about what the movie's trying to say, I think you're going to get very little enjoyment out of this. In fact, you're going to probably come out of it thinking that feeling like you just got drugged to some sort of a protest or some sort of a sit-in or something like that. I don't think you're going to feel like you had a good experience. This is going to feel like it's something that you kind of just got tricked into going to and being a part of. And that's too bad, because I was really looking forward to the Black Christmas remake, because I think that there's a good story in the original, and I think that it's a story that is ripe for modernization. But they failed twice now. They failed to modernize it and do it well twice. So maybe we should just leave well enough alone and let Black Christmas be Black Christmas. But I don't know. That was my take on it. You know, I give this movie a D. This movie had one good kill, and some of the messaging I was okay with. Some of the messaging I could get behind, but not the way that they did it. The way that they did it was everything, the characters and the story and the kills, everything was secondary to what they were trying to say. And that's not how you make a movie. That's not how you tell a story. So for me, it was a D movie. It wasn't very good, and I can't recommend it. But I'm just one person. It's all subjective. What were your thoughts? So what were your thoughts on Black Christmas? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you plan to see it? Maybe you don't even plan to see it. You know, just give me your thoughts on it, even if you haven't seen it. Is it something that's on your radar? Is it something you want to see? Is it something you're excited about? Or are you just going to take a pass on this? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you so much for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all of the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.